I did not want to say this line, but well, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are all doing fine. We are still uh, focusing on intersections. I did say I want to have them separated to avoid confusion. We are gonna reproduce this, but using a different method this episode. It is quite a lengthy procedure, especially if you're still familiarizing yourself with Civil 3D and everything we've done up to this point. But once you get the hang of it and you practice, like I've been saying the past few episodes, this will be a breeze. So the intersection you're looking at right now was done automatically. So this was done using the intersections option along with your corridors, your assemblies, along with your assemblies and the creation of offset alignment. So it does that for you and then it will produce this. Now that process in itself isn't as perfect, especially if um yeah, it's not perfect at times. So this it actually requires you to be very particular and have the correct components ready so that you can have something like this. This is not to say that even if everything's correct, it will come out perfect. It will not. You still need to do a bit of editing. As you can see here, there are gaps in between my intersection, and this was produced automatically. So the manual method actually gives you that leverage or that control of having to set out everything on your own. And then, yeah, in my opinion, you can produce a far better looking intersection than whatever this is. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, let's jump into it. So there are four key bits that are gonna be emphasized in this portion of um the series, or I guess in this portion of creating your intersection. Firstly, it's your offset alignment. Secondly, your baselines, which is the more confusing part, but I will um, try and guide you as much as I can. And then thirdly, so I've said offsets, your baselines, and then your targets. So targets are essentially this bit. So I guess to which alignment will each corridor be connected to. Yeah, and then the last one is regions. Regions, it's not as bad. It's just I guess the separation of your corridors. So yeah, those are the four key bits that you need to understand in order to have an intersection done manually and correctly. So another thing you should note is that with your T junctions or your T intersections, this one right here, the alignment that I've just selected, this will be known as your primary road, right? And then the one going into that, this one right here, this will be your secondary. Okay, so remember, primary and then secondary. So what you want to start with having a corridor for this first, before you can then um, bring it to this alignment right here. But before that, what we need to do is have a connected offset alignment. So connected, basically, it produces a curve for your curve return. So it's a curved offset alignment. I don't know if it actually shows here, but yeah, this portion right here, this is what we need to produce first so that you are then able to work on it. So with that in mind, let's begin. So how do you produce that? So you can click on one of your alignments. So I prefer you click on your primary first, and then you'll go up top to your menu, and then you'll look for connected alignment. So this creates an alignment that maintains a dynamic connection. You'll click on it. Now, once you've clicked on it, it'll ask you to select your second alignment, which is your secondary one, which is this one. So once you've selected this one, you need to select this one. Vice versa, if you've selected this one, we need to select this one. So I'm gonna select on this one. And it says pick a location for the connected alignment. You can start anywhere between the two. Don't go and be clicking this side because then it'll give you this command that says the location cannot be on one of the alignments. So you need to click on where they are where the two are present. So maybe let's say here. And what this does, it shows you like a rough representation of what your connected um alignment will look like. So these red arrows, it shows you from, so the first alignment you selected, it shows you where the alignment will start, and then the one going this side, it's to which alignment, and then this just shows the arrow to show its direction, and then this would be like a radius. So you're gonna press enter. Okay, now you're gonna get this dialog box that says connect or create connected alignment. So you can rename this if you want. I'll just say CA1, and then connection in. So row 2, which is this one right here, and then connection out, which is this one right here. Then you don't need to change much here. What we are gonna be focusing more on is this one right here, the parameters. So the parameters, this lets you define the curve type for your connected alignment. So the one we're gonna be using is circular fillet. Okay. Now, curve radius, this would be the same as the one you would use in the automatic method for intersections. So if you've used 10 there, you need to use 10 here. So, and then degree of curvature, this is done automatically. So, so this is the only option actually you'll have for fillets. You won't have a fillet that's above with an angle that's above 180. And then offset in and offset out. Now this can be confusing to see, especially with um, how your alignments may look. Now, if you want to see a preview of that connected alignment, you can press it here to see roughly where it would line. As you can see on my end, it shows down here. So the yellow represents the arrows, and then the red line is basically the connected alignment. Now offset left, offset in and offset out. Again, here I recommend you use the lane width distance. So I use 3.7, 3.7, and then connection overlaps. Now this is like the line extension. So there's the curve in itself, and then the overlap is basically how far are you extending this line. So I'm gonna make it 10, just as an example. And then once you're happy, you're gonna say, actually before that, let's go to the connector profile. Now it says create profile for connector alignment. You need to take this, especially it's actually very important that you take this. And then cross slope 2%, can leave that as is, can leave this as they are as well. Profile name, I'll just say CA1 prof, and then profile type curve or parabola, we can leave this as is. And then once you're happy, you can click on OK. And what this will do is produce this guy right here. Just waiting for it to actually do something. There we go. Oh my. Is it crashing? I hope it's not. Okay, there we go. It took a while. So yeah, this is your connected alignment. So as you can see, if you were to click this, so it shows where it shows your overlaps. So overlaps are this longer lines right here, and then this is your curve, and then this is the other overlap. Now you're gonna do the same thing on the other side as well. So remember, you click on the assembly, you click on an alignment, and then you're gonna click on connected. Then once you clicked on one, you need to click on the other, and then you select this location, and then we'll press enter, and then we'll call this one CA2. And let's go to parameters. Let's make sure everything is in order. Let's preview. As you can see there, it might not be clear. There we go. So this is our second character alignment. And then let's go to profile. Let me just change this to 2. Let's press OK. Is it done? There we go. Right, it is done. Now, once you've done this, okay, what I recommend you do from here is select your, actually before you select, what I like to do here at this point is put a circle at the tangents of your connector alignments, because at that point what will happen is you'll need this, especially when it comes to splitting regions of this corridor, the corridor that will be rendered here. So I like to do is, if you go over on your connector alignment, maybe somewhere here. Oh yeah, tip how you can actually see if something is a tangent, you need to go here. So the snap cursor to 2D reference points, just make sure some of these are actually switched on, like your tangent and endpoint. Um, yeah, take as much as you can, that will help you actually find those points. If I zoom in quickly and zoom out, let's say, yeah, so at this point where there's a square, that's the endpoint of this line. I can't move because, yeah, I'm gonna lose that point. I'm gonna click here. So I'm gonna have my first circle there. Doesn't matter how big or small it is, as long as there's something shown there that can let you see um, where your curve starts. I'll have another one here, and then we'll do the same thing this side as well. If you press enter, and then I saw a square. So where you see a square, that's where the endpoint of the straight line is. So if I zoom in a bit, okay, there's nothing there. There's no square. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Okay, let's try this side. There we go. Okay, that's one. That's one. And the next one should be roughly. Is this the one? Yeah, I see. I just saw it. But now this looks more like it. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's try this trick. If I draw from here and I follow this line. Oh, this is a thing. Yeah, so the endpoint is here. Let's have a circle drawn there now. Let's have a circle drawn there, and then we'll remove this one right here. I know it's been a tedious process so far, so I hope you guys are following along. Okay, so these are gonna be where we're gonna split regions for certain parts of our corridors. Now we need to create. I know in the procedure you've created profiles for this. Let's see if you can create a profile view for this. Okay, we can just say create. So just make sure that you create profile views for both those alignments. So we have a profile view for CA2 and then profile view for CA1. I create profile view and then I'll place it right next to it. Yeah. So just make sure these are generated before you can continue. Otherwise, you'll not be able to um you'll not be able to create or continue with this whole procedure. Now, how many minutes do we have left? We have about 16. Okay. Now, we need to have a corridor for this road, our primary road. Okay. So if you don't know how to create a corridor, watch the previous episode. I did explain that in detail. But what I want to do here is just skip through the whole thing and just do what's applicable, NGL, and then, okay, I'll leave this as they are. I am going to do actually is change frequency and see if I can get a much better looking down spirals. 15, perfect. Apply, rebuild. Okay. Now, so now we are here. We have this corridor for this for this alignment. Now, what we need to do now is actually split our region. So where we're gonna split where we have these circles here. So the center of this circle is where it's gonna split this. And what we'll do is for that portion that we're splitting, instead of using the full cross section, we are gonna use the cross section here on the right. So how that's gonna work is you'll click here on your corridor, and then you'll go to corridor properties. Okay, you go to corridor properties, and then you go to parameters, and then right here on your cross section. So there is this baseline. So baseline is basically the alignment you're gonna use, and then RG is your region. This is the cross section. What you'll do is you'll right click on that, and then you're gonna say split region. Okay, once you split, you're gonna go to where the center line of that circle lies, which is right here, and then you're gonna split that, and then say specify station along. Hang on, let's try this again. Okay, this process is very finicky. Okay, new region split, new region created at. Let's try this side as well. Let's split it right at this circle so it don't cause confusion. And then let's press enter. Okay, we have more than, we're supposed to just click twice, but as you can see, we have 4 regions instead of 3. So if I press apply quickly, hang on a second, what have I done here? If I say cancel, right, let's redo the procedure just to make sure uh, we don't have any more errors. So again, we split, we'll split. Oh my goodness, let's zoom in a bit. Let's zoom in a bit more. Okay, right, the center of that circle. That's our first. So once you've clicked there, you need to move and click on the other section, which would be here. And then yeah, that's it. And then you just press enter. So right here, you have 3 regions now. So you should have, I don't know why they're not highlighted. Apply, rebuild. There we go. Yeah. So once you have 3, you should have 3 regions. I don't know why they're not highlighting. What's going on? Let's go to OK quickly. Okay, so as you can see, if it's still highlighted, and you can see that that those portions, the regions have been split. So what we need to do is for this small portion right here, we need to have a half section over here. So how this will work is let's go back to properties. Yeah, there we go. Now it's highlighted. So now you can see which portion is which. So RG section 10 is this one right here. The one we're gonna be changing the assembly for is this one. So we're gonna change the assembly of this. So on this menu, if you scroll slightly to your right, under assembly, you need to just click on here, and then you choose the assembly that applies. So if I click on right and I say okay, let's see if it's gonna work. Rebuild. Okay, that is the wrong side. So then you're gonna change and say left, hit apply, rebuild, and this is what we want. So if we hit OK quickly, so this is what we want so far. So you'll have your whole corridor running through like so, and then the regions where the start of the curves are here and here, that's where you're gonna have the half section. So just be careful that you have the correct side done. Now, next, what we're gonna do is now we're gonna start modeling our second um, corridor for this. But we're not gonna just select the this alignment and then have a corridor run straight to. How we're gonna do this is actually create a baseline from here. So what you're gonna do is You select this alignment, and then to create a new baseline, you're gonna go here under modify corridor, you'll add baseline. And then what this lets you do is create a corridor baseline. So baseline name, I said CR2 here. I'll say BL2. Okay. And then the alignment you're gonna select. So this is CA1. You're gonna need to choose this alignment. So this is the corridor that this is the alignment that the corridor will be based off of. So you need to select this alignment, and then you click on OK. And then from then on, it'll say, okay, surface. Then let's change this to vert1 or profile. I'm sorry. You select the profile that applies to this. You say OK. And then just like that, your baseline is created. Now, how do you see that it's actually created? Now, you need to go to your corridor properties, and then you'll see this is our baseline too. So if you select it, you'll see this is our baseline. Now, within this baseline, you need to then create a region, which is the corridor in itself. So you'll right click on that, and then you'll say add region. And then, so you're basically creating a corridor region. So there's the region name, and then assembly, let's use the full cross section. You'll click on OK. And once you've done that, if you click on this plus right here, you'll see that this is your corridor. If you press on apply and then rebuild, and this is a slightly longer road, so this will take time. And there we go. So this is our corridor. So if we exit quickly, so as you can see, we've created another corridor, but instead of using a separate alignment or a separate baseline, it's more connected. So now, as you can see, if you go over this one, it highlights essentially the whole thing. So yeah, now I'm gonna cut it here for a bit, and then we'll continue. Okay, now we have this corridor over here. Okay, so this is the corridor of the secondary road. Now, what we then want to do is, of course, if this was a different corridor, you would drag this thing back, right? Unfortunately, you cannot just do that. You need to then go to your, so everything that will be done regarding like pushing corridors back, they'll all be done here under corridor property. So you need to go there, and then what will happen is you need to um oh, my apologies. You need to drag this corridor back to this point. So how you'll do that is you'll notice on this table, if you select this cross section here, you'll see that um there's start station and then there's end station. Now, if we select our end station and then place it somewhere, so let's say you want our end station to be here. Oh my goodness, this is so slow. Okay. Let's say you want our end station to be the center of the circle. Let's select that quickly. So you'll see, so how you do that is you'll click this little icon here on the far right. It lets you actually select your own chain age or station instead of having to write it down manually. If you say apply and then rebuild, what you'll see is it actually shifts the corridor back for you here. Now, we have a bit of a problem here. Now, remember, ideally, if our intersection was 90 degrees and we had shifted this corridor back like so, this would have been a good opportunity to then just create our curb returns as they are. Now, the problem is now that Those curve returns will only cover where the circles, where these two circles are situated. Okay. For T junctions like this, where they are more slanted, you need to have two separate baselines for the same alignment. So one baseline will cover the left side ending here, and the other baseline, or let me just say the first region will cover the left portion and just end here, while the right portion or the right region will cover this portion until this circle right here. So let's need to do some editing over here. Let's select our corridor properties. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to change the assembly for this. So if we go to assembly, cross section, and then we select left, we say okay, and let's apply. Let's hope it's the right side. There we go. Yeah, this is what we want. This is what we want. Now we need to do the same thing. So we need to create another baseline because you could have two regions, but the regions are only done like from, let's say you can only have a region from here to here. Um you can't have regions like so splitting between the alignment. You cannot do that. So unfortunately, we need to have another baseline. Okay. So what we'll do is over here, we'll just say add baseline over on top here. We'll say add baseline. So we'll say BL2 of 2, and then let's select our alignment. Alignment being this one, okay, and then we'll say okay. Right, now we have our baseline here. Now we need to right click and add a region. And then, so the region is this, but we'll use the right hand side as our assembly. This time we do that. And then okay, so here it talks about vertical baseline. This is our profile. We need to make sure this is selected. And then cross section, that's already been done, I believe. Yeah, that's already done. But what we then need to do, oh my goodness, wait, let's hit apply first and rebuild. Okay, as you can see now, the right side is there, but it does the same thing. It reaches up to the very end of our alignment. What we want to do is, let's click on the plus. We didn't do that, that's why. What we want to do is make this end here at this circle right here. So you need to click on the end station. There's this little icon. It looks like this. You need to click it here. And then you look for the where that circle center is. Mine will take a bit of time to actually adjust to and find. Actually need to zoom in more. Oh my goodness, why is it refusing? There we go. Got it. Right. So we have that done. We hit apply, we rebuild, and then it should drag our corridor back. If we press on OK, you'll see that we now have something like this. So we have two baselines that are based on this very same alignment, but now they cover different sides of our road. So one region covers the left side and the other region covers the right side. Now comes the fun bit where now we need to assign our curb returns. Okay. So you're gonna follow the exact same procedure. You're gonna add a baseline and then assign the alignment. Okay. And then from then on, you are then gonna assign a region. And then for the curve returns, we are then gonna assign targets. So at which point or at which alignments will that region cover or reach up to. So let's do the procedure. Let's click on this corridor. We add baseline. We can say PL3. We can say let's just say curb PL1, and then alignment. We can go ahead and select this one. So this is our CA2. We say OK, and then it says select an alignment. Alignment has been selected. Then it says select a profile. We have one over here, and then that's done. That's our profile done. Now let's then go to our properties. So if we go here quickly, if you select this baseline, so this is the baseline for this, okay, and then we need to create a region. So right click, add a region, and then assembly. So here we're gonna be using curb returns. I'm gonna use curb return 2 because that's the one that worked out, especially for the previous our previous version or previous method of intersections. It worked out super well. So this is our region, and then this is the assembly we used. Let's see if we then apply this. Rebuild corridor. Okay, it's covered. You won't see anything. And as you can see, it has covered the wrong side. Okay, so as you can see here, our assembly looks inverted here. So these dotted lines, you have to zoom in quickly. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in quickly. So as you can see, that the assemblies here don't look the same at all. As you can see, these dotted lines are essentially the end of the cross section, but now for the curb returns is indicated within the road itself. Now, what we need to do, let's see if we're then able to change the station direction of this thing. Point of no, curb return no, design criteria no. Okay, okay, we cannot change the connection, but that's fine because what we can then do is again we can change the my goodness. Okay, we can change the assembly. So we can invert the assembly and then we update the corridor and then it'll be much more seamless. But also this does not look much like a curve, but we will get to that. So let's go to our assembly quickly. Yeah, this intersection is not gonna have a good time today. So, or better yet, let's do it this way. Let's create another assembly. So we're gonna do, we'll say curve returns 3, and then we'll say okay. Okay, we need to move this. We need to move this. Okay, we can't move this. Let's move. Okay, but it's fine. It's okay. Let's leave it there. Then what we'll do is we'll copy everything here, right? So we'll copy this, have it there, and then copy this, have it there. And then what we'll do is we will invert this. So we'll mirror, let's start to mirror the shoulder. And then you're gonna select the center point as the mirror point, and then you delete this bit. And then you're gonna select, no goodness, you're gonna select the lane, mirror, and then delete this one right here. And just like that, we have our third cabinet sense. I could have used the first one, but that one had some errors for whatever reason. So let's see if there's anything that's gonna improve here. Okay, let's select our corridor. Let's go to properties. And then, my goodness, I keep moving this around because I want you guys to see the actual procedure as I'm busy here. We are gonna now select, so under assembly, we'll select 2 and then exchange with 3. apply, rebuild corridor, and this should be a bigger improvement. There we go. So as you can see now, this is now our curve return. But as you can see, this looks nothing like a curve. So this is where then we're gonna change the frequency of the curve, so meaning the amount of assemblies within that um, one curve. So how you do that, if you scroll further to the right, you'll see here under frequency, I'm actually gonna drag it a bit. Frequency, you're gonna go here, and then what we'll do, you're gonna change all of these. So you're gonna change, let's put 2. You need to make this as small as possible. Now, again, this will also depend on like whether your system will be able to render that many assemblies within one region. So you want to say, okay, so our frequency is at 2. If you hit apply and then rebuild corridor, and you can see now this looks more like it. If I press OK quickly, you'll see that now this looks more like a curve. But we are not done yet because we still need to then close this gap over here. And this is where now our targets come in. So we want to go back to our properties. Actually, I should have zoomed out before I did this. I want to zoom in like so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And then properties. Okay, we are now here. So we are still on this baseline. I'm gonna go to the right, and then under target, this is where you wanna be. So you wanna click on this. Now we add target mapping. Now as you can see, there's a table here again which shows surfaces, what you're covering, what you're not. What we wanna focus on. So if you select surfaces, let's change this to NGL. So click and set. Oh, let's make sure it's set again. Okay, but it's set. Now, the one thing we want to be focusing on is our width target. Now, when you click on none, another box appears which says set width or offset target. Now, what you're going to do here is select the two intersecting alignments. How this works is, let's say our first alignment was redesign. Okay, this is the one I remember, redesign. You'll say add. So it sets the entity to target. So meaning this whole portion will end at that alignment. And then the second alignment, if you're not sure what it looks like, you can always go back to your drawing. You select, and then you say alignment. Then you'll press enter. So it'll be selected here, and you just press on add. Now, once you have those two alignments selected, there have to be two, it can't be one. Then once you're done there, you can just click on OK. Now, as you can see, the sub-assembly that it'll use to extend that target is the lane super elevation, which is this purple portion right here. So that's the target that's going to be dragged or extended to those two alignments. There's no need to change this one. This is fine. Then you just say OK. And then once you're done, let's click on apply. Let's rebuild the corridor, and you'll have something that looks like this. So if you click on OK, you'll see, if I uncheck this, this is our curb return. All of this. So once you're happy, what you can do actually is remove these circles. You can remove the circles there. You can remove the circles there. And then, so the same procedure will apply here as well. So you click on your corridor properties. So again, you need to create another baseline for this alignment. So I'll repeat the procedure. Let's add baseline. Now we'll say curb BL2, and then this is CA1. Let's just make sure of that. So you select the connected alignment, and then you say OK. So that's your baseline already created right there. And then what you need to do then is select the vertical baseline. Vertical baseline is basically your profile, your profile for the alignment. Once that's done, you right click, you add a region, and then you select the assembly that applies. Let's use this one. Again, if this becomes invalid, then you're more than welcome to change. That's why it helps to have two curb returns facing the opposite direction. So actually, this one is supposed to be curb return 2. Let's select this. Let's go back to assembly. Let's change this to 2. Okay. Let's hit apply. Let's rebuild. Okay, I was wrong. I was so wrong and I was so persistent of that. Let's change that to 3. Apply, rebuild. Yeah, this is the right one. There we go. Right. Now, same procedure. You change the frequency to make the curve look more defined. So make this a low number. Let's say 2, 2 for each. And then we'll say okay. And then you need to change your target as well. So again, you want to focus on the width target. Okay. Focus on width. Let's change this first to surface. And then you're gonna then select the two intersecting alignments, which are these two. You press on OK, press on OK, and then let's click on apply, rebuild, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is all for our very beautiful looking intersection done manually. Now I know the frequencies aren't really the same for all these regions. You are gonna change that now. So now what I wanna do is remove these two circles. They have helped us quite a lot throughout this procedure. Now let's make this a lot more seamless. Okay, let's focus on frequency. So instead of having to change frequencies one by one for each portion, so let's say for each baseline, for one baseline, there's 3 regions. Instead of changing one by one, you can actually go ahead and change for everything, and it will actually work out for all of it. So if I do this, 2, 2, and then say okay, as you can see, it actually changes for all those regions as a whole. And then what you need to do then is just apply the change, rebuild your corridor, and watch magic happen. There we go. So this portion is done. Now let's do the same thing. Which one was it? Okay, yeah, the two other baselines. Let's do the same thing. Let's change this to 2, change this to 2, change this to 2, and press OK. And gonna do the same thing for this one. Change that to a 2, change this to 2, change that to a 2, and then OK. Apply your change, rebuild the corridor. This one will take a lot more time because the road is very long. Let's give it time to adjust and create. It better not crash. It better not crash. It better not crash. Okay, it's still recreating. So, ladies and gentlemen, long and short, this is how you create intersections manually without using the option to without using the intersections option. Now, I want to give us a bit of time before you can actually move around. It should be done. There we go. It is done. Let's press OK. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is our stunning, beautiful looking intersection. Well, I say intersection. We've done the intersection along with the entirety of all the roads we have here. So as you can see, this is the entire road done. And then if we go here, this is our intersection. This is very beautiful. Let's see if we're able to drive on it. Now, this might be a bad idea considering how much has been rendered here. if I select maybe this portion, let's select this. No, let's select this. Corridor, corridor. Why can I not select? Okay, EPS. Let's go here. I wonder which alignment it's gonna take me to. Again, this might be a bad idea. Um, okay, it's still trying its best to actually put together a usable model. All right, we have something. Let's see if it's gonna. There we go. So this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is our road. Now the question is now, which alignment is this? Am I able to see? Oh, current path are to render. Okay, we are close to. We're actually quite close to our intersection. So current path, it tells you exactly where, which assembly or which alignment rather you are currently on. And then why can't I play? There should be a cursor moving around. Or it's still deciding. We'll see if it wants it to actually drive on this road. Okay, I think it's done. It's done generating the boundary. Let me drive, man. It's even warning me about 3D performance. I mean, yeah, no kidding. Clearly, it wasn't built for this. Uh, okay, you know what? Unfortunately, to avoid um, this bad boy crashing, I am gonna have to exit this menu. But yeah, I guess if this is how you're gonna end intersections, then I guess that's it. But I hope that you guys have gotten the concept of creating intersections in both ways. As I wait for this to come to its senses. But overall, I hope you've enjoyed and understood the entirety of um, the two methods of getting your intersections. Wait, are we able to drive? This might be a slow drive, but I wouldn't take anything less currently. Yeah, this is gonna be the slowest drive ever. Yeah, no, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. It's all worth it. But anywho, hope you guys have enjoyed. I actually wanted to see how the intersection looked like, but you can do that on your own time. Again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope it was actually useful. I hope I have guided you guys enough to actually understand the fundamentals of um, intersection creation or intersection design, along with everything else we've done up to this point. Um, I will see you guys in the next episode. Uh, yeah, we'll we'll see each other then. For now, practice, practice, and practice. I'll see you next time.